Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be doing a character build showcase of I wanted to say my child, but I feel like that sounds a little weird, so we're not going to say that. Of my Tartagalia. So just a little bit of background. I pulled C1 Child back on his first run, back in like 1927, and I hated it. I was so upset because I was saving up so many Primo Gems for Zhongli, and I mained Beto for a long ass time, and she was on his first banner. So I wanted to pull some constellations, and I ended up getting C1 Child, and I was so angry because I would have been like C3 Zhongli or whatever. Like it was painful. It was sad. If Beto was on Zhongli's banner way back in the day, life would be so different right now, man. But that's not the case. So I pulled him, and I didn't play him for like a year. Like I did not care for him. I was like, he's a cool character. I didn't really like his playstyle. It's not really for me. He hits hard, but sometimes I was very iffy about him. And then the Pyro Hypostasis came, and that Spiral Abyss was like hell for me. My only like built water character was Mona, and she just wasn't enough to like take him down. So a friend of mine was like, yo, make a one-shot child build. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like fun. So this isn't my original idea. This is my friend from way back's idea, and I rocked with it. I don't remember what bow I used to have on child, but then like when his bow came out, I was like, bro, this guy's putting work against the Pyrohypostasis cube, so we'll get him his bow. I also have his bow, the Polar Star. It looks like kind of horrendous on him. Like it doesn't match anything, but like it's his bow, so whatever, man. We'll take it. So level 90. I have every character I use is level 90 because I'm just like that, dog. Here are his stats, his numbers. 40 EM, going crazy, absolutely insane, man. But no. The main part is 75 crit rate. Crit rate 75. I don't remember that. It's kind of insane. And then 172 crit damage, which is like, if you're like the biggest fan of Child, maybe you have like 200, but yeah, I don't. It's good enough, man. I'm happy, content. So I run the Polar Star, as you saw, R1, level 90 as well, because you want as much crit rate as possible and or as much crit damage as possible. So let me read the effects for you. Daylight's elemental skill and elemental burst damage increased by 12%. That's beautiful already. We can stop right now, and we've already got a pretty solid build. But there's more. After a normal attack, charge attack, elemental skill, or elemental burst hits an opponent, one stack of Ashen Nightstar. That sounds like something from like Dark Souls 3. Will be gained for 12 seconds. When 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of Ashen Nightstar are present, attack is increased by 10, 20, 30, 48, which kind of breaks up the flow, you know, it's like 10, 20, 30, 48. Like, we're not complaining for that extra 8%, but it messes up the flow a little bit. It should have been like 12 each, then it would have been. The stack of Ashen Nightstar created by the normal attack, charge attack, elemental skill, or elemental burst will be counted independently of the others. Pristine bow that is as sharp as the glacier as the far north. That's kind of cool, actually. I didn't know that, because, you know, he's from like Russia or whatever. So basically, simple terms, the way this works, your skill and your burst does extra damage. I don't really think his skill does damage. I don't remember, actually. I know it's got like a weird R thing. It might actually do damage when you enter it. I don't know. I never actually paid attention to that. After so when you use like any of the attacks, normal, charge, skill, or burst, not plunging though, sad, but yeah, if you're making like a Zhao Child, man, it says you can't run this. So whenever you use any of these attacks, like either consecutively or like just one, then you get these little Ashen ones built up. So let's say you go into stance and you do his normal attack 4 times, you'll gain these stacks of Ashen Nightstar, giving you these buffs, and they each last for 12 seconds each. Pretty solid stuff. So we'll get into it. We'll get into it when we get into how I play him. That's all you need to know for now. For his artifacts, we are running 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Hydro at Heart of Death. But this was back in the olden days when the world we live in was black and white. But like nowadays, you youngsters, you can use the what's the name of the set? You can use the Nymph's Dream. You can use that set too because that has 2-piece Hydro damage bonus. So you can use that if you don't have this. Whatever, man. Whichever is easier for you, whichever you have, whatever. So the reason when we run the 2-piece Noblesse and the 2-piece Hydro is because we want the extra Hydro damage. It's perfect on him. And the reason why we don't have the, like the 4-piece Heart of Depth or nowadays the 4-piece Nymph's Dream, because I think it's better, is because he wasn't built to just do like a bunch of hits that, hit for a lot. I built him to do one whole arm water thing, whatever it is that he does, lance or whatever. I built him to hit one of those for extremely hard because I dropped Mona's ult and I dropped his ult, and I went to stance with him and then dropped his ult, and then the pyro cube is dead. That was it. That's all I built my Childe for, and that's all I ever used him to do. In recent days, I built my Toma, and I used Mona and Childe to absolutely obliterate the pyro hypostasis cube. Like, he was like dormant, safe. He was building up his resources to attack me again, but I just went in there and I completely wrecked his house. I destroyed his family portraits. I did everything possible mean you could do. I stole his shoes, and I took the soles out of one shoe and the laces out of the other shoe, and I left the shoes there. And he was damaged after that for a long time because I absolutely despised the hypostasi. So that felt a little violent. So moving on, here are the numbers that they've rolled. This is a pretty solid flower in my heart. We got a decent bit of attack, some crit rate, some crit damage. Everything looks nice here. Elemental mastery. Overall, it's pretty nice. I'd be happy about it. You would be happy about it, probably. This is it. Not a brag or anything. This is a pretty good flower. I mean, feather. 6.6 crit rate, which is a pretty decent amount. And then 26.4 crit damage. It's a pretty solid amount. Pretty happy about that. A little bit of elemental mastery and some HP, because you don't want to die, And then we've got the Noblesse pocket watch. I have a pocket watch, but I really want the Noblesse pocket watch. It looks really, really nice. Like, maybe I'll just get like the whole like Noblesse like outfit or something. It just looks really cool. Like, I really like this. I mainly like the pocket watch. Like, I love pocket watches. But yeah, this isn't the best. This is like a pretty trash one. Like, I definitely have better ones. Like, man, like I think Ningguang has like a crazy one, and like hers is like pretty decent, and like hers is pretty wild, but it's EM. Like I do have better, but this is like good enough, solid. Like, maybe one day I'll get a better one. Maybe one day I won't. Like, I'm not in any like rush to play Childe. If there's ever a fire boss again, bro, like when we get like the Pyro Archon country or whatever the name of it is, wow, like my Childe's gonna wreck house. He's gonna one shot everything in there. Every like pyro enemy possible, he's dogging them, bro. But yeah, obviously a lot of it went into defense, so at least he won't get one shotted, right? We can be happy about that. Next up, for like we had a chance for an off piece, so we had a Hydro Viridescent piece, which is pretty cool. It's like all attack and crits, so it's like this is like I don't know why I like when I first got this, I wasn't building Childe. I got this a long time ago, but I was like, bro, this is such a violent piece. Like, I've never seen such a violent artifact. It's all attack, it's all crit, it's Hydro damage bonus. Like, this is like this is the exact piece that would fit Childe. It's just like it's fit for a murderer, bro. Like this is exactly what Childe is, and like it just fits him so well. It's too violent to not give to him. But it rolled like whatever, like decent. And then we have the Heart of Depth hat, circlet, whatever. So crit damage piece, gotta get as much crit damage, and it rolled decent bit. It's a crit rate, because we got 11 crit rate off of this. Got some attack, and I was like, it's pretty solid. That's really good, actually. 11 crit rate is like pretty good stuff. So I was happy about that. So those are his artifacts and his bonuses and everything. Constellations, we have one constellation. That is like too many if you ask me, but he's definitely earned his keep. So we like our child, and I really like his. I actually really like his constellation because of the whale. Like not because I'm a whale, but like it just looks really cool. And like I don't know why his thing is like whales, but like it's pretty cool. Like I don't know what it is about it. It just looks really nice. It looks really cool. Like in the night sky, it's like a whale like swimming in the night sky. It just looks dope, bro. First talents, we have technically 9, 7, 8, and then your yeah, I guess we'll read from this. So this is just like his, his first talent is always, first talent's always like normal attack, charge attack, plunge attack, whatever. So if you wanted to look at it, yeah, it's the combo. Riptide Flash, the hell is that? Oh yeah, I think it's a charge thing. It like does something. So I guess we'll read that. Opponents affected by Riptide will suffer from AoE Hydro damage effects when attacked by Tartagalia in various ways. Damage dealt in this way is considered normal attack damage. Riptide Flash. A fully charged aim shot that hits an opponent affected by Riptide deals consecutive bouts of AoE damage, can occur once every 0.7 seconds. Riptide Burst. Defeating an opponent affected by Riptide creates a Hydro Burst that inflicts the Riptide status on nearby opponent's hit. So yeah, do stuff, man. Next up, we have his Elemental skill. I missed like so many times. So this changes his normal attack. We can level it up. This changes his normal attack to these like water swords. So he goes from like the bow to like water swords. And every attack he does is like Hydro, and he attacks like a bit faster and everything, a lot stronger. And yeah, it does do damage when you change into it. That's funny. But yeah, this is like stats of like, the attacks and whatnot. Unleashes a set of weaponry made of pure water, dealing Hydro damage to surrounding enemies and entering melee stance. In this stance, Tartagalia's normal and charged attacks are converted to Hydro damage that cannot be overridden by any other elemental fusion and change as follows. Normal attack, charge attack, the Riptide Slash. Hitting it, this is very important, pay attention, keep notes. Hitting an opponent affected by Riptide with a melee attack unleashes a Riptide Slash that deals AoE Hydro damage. Damage dealt in this way is considered elemental skill damage and can only occur once every 1.5 seconds. This is what's it called? This is like a really fun thing about him. There's like all this like Riptide stuff, like when you defeat an enemy and then like they explode into water and then they like it gets added to like the next enemy and then like they get killed. It's just like a really fun thing about like clearing out crowds with Childe. After 30 seconds or when the ability is unleashed again, the skill will end. Tartagalia will return to his ranged stance and this ability will enter cooldown. The longer Tartagalia stays in this melee stance, the longer the cooldown. If the return to a ranged stance occurs automatically after 30 seconds, the cooldown is even longer. What's it called? I forgot to mention that a very important thing about Childe is getting his Constellation 1, because like the other ones are like pretty cool. Like off the top of my head, I don't actually like know how important it is to get more than one constellation, but it's very important that if you get Childe, you have to get his Constellation 1. He's a lot easier to play, still pretty tough to play, because his major drawback is that he's best when you're in Raging Tide, and it has an extremely long cooldown. Whoa, what are all these stats? Like yeah, the cooldown is like can be 6 to 36 seconds, or actually 6 to 36 or 45 seconds. But if you have his Constellation 1, it lowers it by a bit, makes it a bit easier to run around with. Next up, we have Havoc Obliteration. This is like my favorite thing about him. He actually has like 2 ults, pretty cool. So when you're in melee, it has a bigger percentage boost or whatever. When you're in range, which is like the bow, of course. I don't know why I had to explain that to you. It has a less, but still a lot. And then Riptide Blast, whatever. Riptides everywhere. So, man, there's so much reading. Everything is like Everything is like so many different, like it's like the same but like 3 versions and variants. Man, it's a lot of reading. Range stance, Flash of Havoc. Swiftly fires a hydro imbued magic arrow. Magic arrow, that sounds so weird. Dealing AoE hydro damage and applying the Riptide status. Returns a portion of its energy cost after use. Melee stance, Light of Obliteration. That is an insane sounding name. But it doesn't really fit because, like, you know, he's like Hydra, so light. Maybe if it was like Wave of Obliteration or Torrent of Obliteration or Tide of Obliteration, that would have been better. Performs a slash with a large AoE, dealing massive hydro damage to all surrounding opponents, which triggers Riptide Blast. Now, Riptide Blast, when the obliterating waters hit an opponent affected by Riptide, it clears the Riptide status and triggers a Hydro Explosion that deals AoE Hydro damage. Damage dealt in this way is considered elemental burst damage. So he has like all these ways of like, you know, inflicting like Riptides and like doing all this extra damage. It's really, really cool, really, really fun. Obviously for clearing out groups. It's really strong for bosses too, which is why like I built him for the boss. His Ascension talent extends Riptide duration by 8 seconds. Pretty damn necessary. His next one, when Tartagalia is in Foul Legacy Raging Tide's melee stance, on dealing a crit hit, normal and charge attacks, they apply the Riptide status effect to opponents. Solid stuff. So he has high crit rate, and that's why his like weapon has crit rate, because it all works together. And this is a very cool passive talent. Increases your own party member's normal attack level by 1. So if you have him in a party, everyone's normal attack is increased by 1 level. Really, really cool. Really, really fun. Like, you can do some cool stuff with him. He has, like, no possible way of becoming, like, a support character. So it's, like, it's kind of, like, damn, where, like, if you have, like, a character that's, like, charge attacks or normal attacks or whatever, like, it's tough to try and make them work with Tartagalia. But, like, hey, man, it's happened. Like, it's here, and it's just up to you to make it happen, man. So that's his kit and everything. And so the role I had him play was obviously DPS, but like not in like his like Raging Tide stance, because he can do that and he can get some decent damage. Like my child's like Raging Tide is like weaker than like every child in the world, because you know he's not running like a 4-piece Nymph Stream or Heart of Death, which takes a hit to his normal attack damage and charge attack, I guess, as well. But I built him to one-shot Pyrohypostasis, like I said, and one-shot other bosses too. Like he can, like it's definitely not only that boss. Like I'm pretty confident, like I can run around to like some of the weaker bosses, because some bosses have just like an insane amount of HP, shields, and all that nonsense. So some of like the other bosses, he could probably do a fat chunk of damage, finish them off in his like stance, or kill him in 1 hit. So that's why he has, you know, the Noblesse and everything to just, so you enter his stance and you get like a couple of hits in, like 4 hits, so he gets like the bonus from his Polish Star, you know, with the Ashen Night Star, and then you hit his burst, and there's all these things like boosting his burst damage, and you're gonna hit some fat numbers. Now for characters that work with him, I think if you have like any character that can just buff his damage, you know, you can throw down like a Bennett ult, or a Bennett burst. You can throw down like Mona's burst. You can throw down like anyone with like a Noblesse or Tenacity of the Millilith. Like playing him, Mona, and Shinobu with the 4-piece Tenacity set has been really fun. Like sadly my Mona doesn't have like a 4-piece Noblesse, but there would have been like so many buffs going on. I think his muscles would have exploded out of his shirt. But those are characters that are really fun to play him with. You can also run it with Beto. Like if you use Beto's like burst, and you get like the electric shield and you use normal attacks, and like it triggers the electro things, and like you're getting electro charge on like every enemy, and then like the Riptide and they're exploding. There's so many numbers going on. It's great. You can absolutely destroy everyone. You can run him with like Denjo characters too. He works really well for triggering like you know, like bloom reactions, because his whole thing is like water. So Like his whole like stance is water. You can run him in freeze teams. If you have like a Rosaria ult or something out, or if you have like a Kazuha swirling cryo, like there's like a lot you can do. You can run him with Toma. You can pop like Toma's burst and just have like a bunch of vaporize, but you'll need like elemental mastery. There's so many things you can do with him. He's a pretty versatile character with the way you can play him and run him. He's really cool, really fun. I found that like after I built him and I started playing him, I was like, you know what, I enjoyed this a lot. So like even if I pull a 5-star that I don't like, I build them anyway because I have them, so I might as well enjoy them in some capacity, and they might come up in some way. So you know, you gotta rock with it. Like I pulled Kokomi, and I was completely not happy. But you know, Child, on the other hand, I was extremely delighted. So some alternate build you can go with is the traditional Child build. You can go Heart of Depth, you can go Nymph's Dream. I don't know exactly like which one's better to say, but the Nymph's Dream, just from reading the effect, it sounds a lot better. It just seems like it just seems like it's a lot better because it increases your hydro damage and your attack at the same time. Whereas the Heart of Depth, it's like you got to use the skill, and then like it's boosted by like 30, like your normal in charge boosted by 30% for 15 seconds. But the other one just seems crazier. Like you don't have to worry about using a skill. Like you just keep spamming normal attacks and you just keep getting buffs. And like, yeah, you could 1000% run that. Like that seems like a very solid build for him. Other than that, I don't think there's really many like I don't think there's many other like builds you can really rock with. Like he's a very simple character. Like I guess you can go for like some kind of like reaction like water thing. Like I think it's like what's it called? Paradise something. Paradise something. I think it's like that's like a set that has like a lot of reaction. Wow, I probably have none of it because that's a little sad. Oh, Flower of Paradise Lost. Here we go. Yeah, the equipment character is Bloom, Hyper Bloom version, whatever. So Bloom reactions will do more. Additionally, a character triggers Bloom, so whatever. Yeah, so you can do like Bloom stuff for him. Probably. I personally wouldn't do it, but you could do it. That's like an option. Like Paradise Lost has been such a cool like set because it's like any character could just all of a sudden become like like part of a Dendro team. So yeah, that's my child showcase. Not my offspring, but my Tartagalia. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if he's trash. Let me know if you like him. Let me know. Let me know alternate builds or what you've been doing, what you've been experimenting with. I'd love to hear it. If the Nymph stream is better than the Heart of Depth or what. And thank you guys for watching. And be sure to check out my check out my other build showcases or check out my tier list. And take care.